What's up, party people, and welcome to Stoniecast number 157 and season 5, episode 19 of Thoughts and Hunches, Making Money in Bunches and Sucker Punches. It's your boy Stony Claus coming back at you for the 157th time live, well, not live, but recording live from California. All right, I've given you so many winners over the last few weeks. Stony Claus is back in your life to keep dropping on you. And I'd like to welcome all of my fellow hoodlums, lowlifes, shady characters, scumbags, heathens, scoundrels, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, hustlers, wise guys, people that give themselves nicknames and speak in the third person, unacceptable. Foul-mouthed, raging alcoholics, MLB players that got into a fight with Bryce Harper. You know exactly who you are. Cheats, disasters that take pride in a $4 profit on the WNBA. Also unacceptable. Gangsters, fienders with abusive language, and degenerates, let's face it, basically anybody with a massive gambling problem. If you're new to the show, hey, you probably fit into one or a few of those categories, so welcome, because you're now one of us. One of us. One of us, gooba gobba, one of us, we accepted one of us. Sorry, sometimes I get a little carried away there. Hey, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down here in the lower right-hand corner. Ring that bell. That way you can get notified every time I put out a new video. Also, to spread the word is very easy. Just tell other degenerates and scumbags you know, like Josh G, to go to YouTube and enter Thoughts and Hunches in the search bar. That'll take you directly to my page, and you can get dialed into everything I drop on you. Also, if you're new and you don't know what's what with this channel, it's college and pro football winners, MLB playoff winners, and college basketball winners. The books don't expect a guy like me to deliver this many winners. I'm an outlier and I'm a disruptor. I'm like the Beastie Boys. I disrupt.
Step inside the party, disrupt the whole scene.
That's what I do. That's precisely what I do. I go to the mattresses every single week and I get info for you in order to get you to the window with a ticket to cash. Now, before I get to the picks, as usual, I have some thoughts.
Give me all you got. Listen, give me all you got.
That never gets old. It just doesn't. It can't. Now, let's start with some programming notes. In this Stoniecast, I'm going to give you all my picks up through Monday night. And because the last couple days of the year and the first few days of the new year are going to be absolutely insane, Stoniecast 158 will be recorded and released Monday night in anticipation of a crazy New Year's Eve and New Year's Day with bowl games and college football playoffs galore. This week is crazy in itself. But there's always something about New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, right? So at some point during the NFL Monday night matchup between the Lions and the 49ers next Monday night, I'll be releasing Stoniecast 158 to get you ready for the playoff quarterfinals and all of next week's action. As for the week that was, an ice cold start to the NFL week was heated up real quick on Sunday, where I kicked some serious ass and finally dropped a huge day, which is what I needed. 11-6-1 on the week for that ass to finally post a solid NFL week to rehab those numbers that were clearly struggling.
I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
That a boy, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Not anymore, though. No more struggling, right? College football bowl games and playoffs were interesting. Then I got off to a hot start on the sides. Then I missed some totals. But throughout the mayhem, I started hitting the totals and missed some sides. But I still wound up 14-9 as I went 3-1 yesterday to close out a very good week in college football. College hoops, not so good. It was just a 500 week and it seemed like every single day. A 3-4 Monday yesterday to close out the week didn't help. So I ended up 31-27 on the hardwood, which isn't very good. But winning weeks in football certainly help. You add them all up, and it's yet another winning week in the black for my 10th straight winning week. Can't touch that. Can't touch this shout-out hammer. Should have done that one. Anyway, last week, 56 wins, 42 losses, 1 push. Hang on. What is going on here? Let me get this under control. That's a lot better. All right. 56 wins, 42 losses, 1 push. That's 57.14%. That's solid thanks to football, right? NFL regular season. For the whole season, 145 wins, 103 losses, 7 pushes, 58.47%. Solid number, went up a whole half point just in this last week. NCAA basketball regular season. Took a little dip. 272 wins, 205 losses, 3 pushes, 57.02%. I need to get going there and get over 58%. That's the goal. Bowl season, 14-11 overall now, 56% and climbing after a good week. All right. So overall, every pick that I've given you in all 18 Stoniecasts this season, 669 wins, 494 losses, 11 pushes. That's good for 57.52%. Numbers that keep going that high, they can only mean one thing.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
That's right, Teddy. Now, please remember that all of these picks are 100% free, right? So for all those touts out there that are giving you 75 to 80% winners, come on, we all know that you're full of shit. Plus, you're charging for these picks. I mean,
Right. Oh!
really? I mean, how can that happen? You're charging for those picks. With me, just come to YouTube every week and I'll drop my plays on you for free. Okay, you ready? Away we go to episode number 19.
Just win, baby.
That's right, Al. Just win, baby. Let's go bowling tonight. A holiday tradition ever since I could remember, right? Christmas Eve is the one tradition that happened. Well, there's one game that happens every year on Christmas Eve. And this year, Christmas Eve is on a Tuesday night. So what are we going to do tonight?
Smoking and drinking on a Tuesday night.
That boy, Beasties coming in hard. All right. Every year we get the sunshine of the Hawaii Bowl in Stony Lulu. And this year's version goes tonight, 8 Eastern on ESPN at the TC Ching Complex, where 7-5 San Jose State's a 3.5-point favorite versus 6-6 South Florida, and the total 62.5. Both schools were sneaky good this season, but they both struggled down the stretch, losing 3 of their last 5. My biggest issue here for the Bulls is that I don't think any school is traveling farther for a bowl game than USF is, all the way to Oahu from South Florida, right? They aren't there to play. They're in town to party and get down in Hawaii. Give me San Jose State minus 3.5 and under 62.5 on the night before Christmas. Tomorrow, Christmas Day, the NFL goes again in their attempt to steal the limelight away from the unwatchable NBA. And this year, it's actually on Netflix. 1 p.m. Eastern at the stadium formerly known as the Giant Ketchup Bottle in the Steel City. Where 14-1 Kansas City's a 3-point road chalk at 10-5 Pittsburgh, and the total's 43. The Chiefs just keep on rolling to the AFC's top seed in a first-round bye, while the Steelers now find themselves in a tie with Baltimore for first place in the AFC North and need to finish the season strong despite a brutal stretch here in which they've lost 2 straight to Philadelphia and Baltimore. I've lost 2 weeks in a row with both teams, so I have to roll with the Steelers here, catching 3 at home with a sprinkle. You got to sprinkle it.
Sprinkle me, man.
That-a-boy 40. Way to come in hard. Game 2 of the NFL Christmas Showdown goes at 4:30 Eastern on Netflix at Energy Stadium in H-Town, where the 10-5 Ravens are 5.5-point road favorites at the 9-6 Texans, and the total's 47.5. Houston won 3 out of 4 before KC took them to the shed on Saturday to expose Houston for the frauds that they are. Those 3 wins were over Dallas, Jacksonville, and Miami. Enough said. Baltimore got their groove back and needs to win out to take the AFC North away from Pittsburgh. Give me the Ravens. Lay the 5 and a chunk on the road. With no college hoops going on Christmas Eve, there are a few games tomorrow to touch on. There's, let me make sure I got that one. Yes, there we go. There's no games today, right? But tomorrow, Christmas Day slate as the traditional Diamond Head Classic from Stony Lulu takes center stage at the Stan Sheriff Center on Oahu. 1:30 Eastern on ESPNU. I like 6-6 Murray State plus 1.5 versus 9-3 Loyola Chicago with a sprinkle.
Sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle me.
Attaboy 40. 4 Eastern at the Sheriff Center. I'm on 9-3 Charleston minus 5.5 versus 7-5 Charlotte. 6:30 Eastern on ESPN2. I got to take the 7-4 home Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii minus 2.5 versus 4-8 Oakland. And finally, at 9 Eastern on ESPN2, I got to dance with 9-2 Nebraska minus 3.5 over 10-2 Oregon State to close out the night in college hoops. Thursday, we get back into Bowl Mania. And the week between Christmas and New Year's is just a sheer joy to behold games all day, every day. 3 games on Thursday. And the first one is the Game Above Sports Bowl, which is new. The Game Above Sports. Never even heard of that one, but that's the bowl game going there. 2 Eastern on ESPN at Ford Field in the Motor City. And at 7-5 Pittsburgh is a 6.5 point favorite over 7-5 Toledo, and the total's 50.5. Pitt's red hot start fell completely apart as they lost 6 of their last 7, including 5 in a row. Toledo had a very good season going, but dropped their last 2 as both schools have players in the transfer portal and will not be playing here. Pitt will run it early and often with great success, so I'm going to take Pitt minus 6.5 and under 50.5. The Rate Bowl goes Thursday at 5:30 Eastern on ESPN at Chase Field in Phoenix, where 8-4 Kansas State is a 7-point favorite versus 7-5 Rutgers, and the total's 50.5. K-State had a shot at a college football playoff berth had they not faltered down the stretch and wound up losing 3 out of 4 in the Big 12, while Rutgers finished their Big 10 season strong by winning 3 of their last 4. Both schools are evenly matched, and while I see K-State getting the W here, I can't ignore that big number and a Greek quarterback for Rutgers. That's right. Give me Rutgers catching 7 and under 50.5. Thursday, 7 Eastern on ESPN at Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile. 7-5 Bowling Green is a 7-point favorite versus 7-5 Arkansas State, and the total's 51 in the 68 Ventures Bowl. Bowling Green's loss to Miami, Ohio last month in their regular season finale cost them a shot at the MAC title, but they still won 4 out of 5 to close it out. Ark State was surprisingly good this year in the Sun Belt and finished second in the West. Arkansas State has had a stingy defense this year, so I'm going to take them here, catching a full touchdown and under 51. Thursday night NFL is at 8:15 Eastern on Amazon at Soldier Field in the Windy City, as the 8-7 Seahawks are 3.5-point road favorites at the 4-10 Bears, and the total is set at 40.5. Seattle's hot streak is over after back-to-back losses to the Packers and Vikings, while Chicago still hasn't won since the Hail Mary loss to Washington way back in October. 9 straight losses? Really? Make it 10. Seahawks minus 3.5. 5 bowl games begin on Friday at noon Eastern on ESPN at M&G Carter Stadium in the Big D, as 6-6 Oklahoma's a 3-point favorite versus 9-3 Navy, and the total's 43.5 in the Armed Forces Bowl. OU's first season in the SEC didn't exactly go as planned by them, and they won some games that they should have lost and lost some games that they should have won in an uneven 6-6 campaign. Navy got it to 7-0 before stumbling to close out the season at 9-3, but a win over Army was huge to close it out. Oklahoma's defense isn't meant to slow down the triple option. No how, no way. Give me Navy, +3 with a sprinkle.
Sprinkle me, man.
Attaboy 40. And while you're at it, give me the over, 43.5. The Birmingham Bowl goes at 3:30 Eastern on Friday on ESPN at Protective Stadium in Birmingham, where 7-5 Georgia Tech is a 2.5-point favorite versus 6-6 Vanderbilt, and the total's 51.5. Tech finished their season strong with wins over Miami and NC State in the ACC before a tough 8 overtime loss to Georgia in clean old-fashioned hate. Vandy's great season finished by losing 4 out of 5 despite an eye-opening season with a few huge wins. Tech is the hotter team, but I've been making money with Vandy all season long, and why should I stop now? Vanderbilt plus 2.5 with a sprinkle.
Are you ready?
It just killed me on that one. Anyway, sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle me, man. Is that good enough for you? You know, I'll pretend I'm 40. While you're at it, over for 51.5 in that one. Friday, 5 Eastern on ESPN at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium in Memphis. 6-6 Arkansas is a 2-point favorite versus 8-4 Texas Tech, and the total's 53.5 in the Liberty Bowl. Arkansas has had some huge wins this season before losing 3 out of 4, while Texas Tech got hot and won 3 of their last 4 to finish 5th in the Big 12. Arkansas has been way too uneven this season, and Tech is just a better team right now. So I'll take the Raiders plus 2 with a sprinkle and over 53.5. The famous Holiday Bowl goes Friday night, 8 Eastern on Big Fox at Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego, the 619, where 21st ranked Syracuse is a 15.5-point favorite versus 8-4 Washington State, and the total's 59.5. Syracuse won 5 out of 6 to finish 4th in the ACC, while Washington's strong season all year is a mess right now. As head coach Jake Dickert left to take the job at Wake Forest, still don't know why, and quarterback John Mateer, who had a great season, is now going to take over as Oklahoma's starting quarterback next season. This is why the line has moved 12 points. There's some crazy shit happening here. But 15.5 is still way too many points. Give me Wazoo plus 15.5 and under 59.5. Friday night's late game is the Las Vegas Bowl at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN at the Death Star in America's playground of Las Vegas, where 8-4 Texas A&M is a 3.5-point favorite versus 6-6 Southern Cal, and the total's 51.5. A&M was playing really well until November hit, and then they lost 3 out of 4, but they still finished 4th in the SEC, which ain't nothing to sneeze at. USC may have salvaged their season by winning 3 out of 5 to close out their season, but Lincoln Riley's squad has clearly regressed, and they ain't the same Trojans that they were in the past. I cannot take USC in good faith over an SEC school. A&M has to be the play here, minus 3.5 and over 51.5. Sorry, Maria. That was my sister-in-law. She's an SC grad, so I had to give her shit about that one. She's over here in the kitchen. Anyway, okay, before I get to NFL Saturday picks, I got to stay in college because after 5 games on Friday, there are 8 more on Saturday. It's crazy shit happening this time of year. The Fenway Bowl starts it all off at 11 Eastern on ESPN at Fenway Park in Beantown. As 6-6 North Carolina is a 3-point favorite versus 8-4 Connecticut, and the total's 53.5. Bill Belichick's going to take over in Chapel Hill next season, and the Heels would love to end their season on a high note after losing their last 2. But UConn's won 4 out of 5 to finish a fantastic season against a really god-awful schedule. I'll take the points here, though, as UConn gets the cover plus 3 with a sprinkle and over 53.5. Give me a quick second here. Here we go. Can't do the Fenway Bowl without doing the Pinstripe Bowl on the same day, Saturday, noon Eastern on ABC at Yankee Stadium in the Boogie Down Bronx. 6-6 Nebraska is a 2.5-point favorite versus 7-5 Boston College, and the total's 45.5. Nebraska's season came to a crashing halt with losses in 4 of their last 5, while BC won 3 out of 4. Dylan Raiola versus Thomas Castellanos would be a great quarterback matchup here, but Castellanos is Tallahassee bound now. So I have to roll with Nebraska here and lay the 2.5 and under 45.5 in the Boogie Down. New Mexico Bowl goes at 2:15 Eastern on Saturday on ESPN at University Stadium in Albuquerque, where 8-4 Texas Christian is a 13-point favorite versus 10-3 Louisiana, and the total's 57.5. TCU won 4 of their last 5, including 3 in a row to close their season and finish 5th in the Big 12, while the Raging Cajuns were beaten up by Marshall in the Sun Belt Championship game. TCU quarterback Josh Hoover is the guy here, and he's been slinging it and tossing it and pitching it all around all season. Shout out to the old ball coach. I don't see how he doesn't do it again here. Louisiana, this one gets ugly. TCU minus 13 and under 57.5. Two schools that had eyes on the college football playoff get together in the Pop-Tarts Bowl on Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on ABC at the Bounce House in Orlando, where 13th ranked Miami's a 3.5-point favorite versus number 18 Iowa State, and the total's 55.5. The Canes' only 2 losses of the seasons were in their final 3 games of Georgia Tech and Syracuse, which ultimately led the playoff committee to wisely omit them from the playoff. Sorry, Donnie and all of Miami folks, but your team is crap. You know it, and I know it. Iowa State was blown out by Arizona State in the Big 12 championship, but they still finished at the top of the standings after a great year. Miami can score and will score. The problem is they can't slow anybody down. I'm on the Cyclones here, catching 3.5 with a sprinkle and over 55.5. Have to do it. 4:30 Eastern on Saturday on the CW network at Arizona Stadium in Tucson. It's 8-5 Miami, Ohio is a 3-point favorite over 8-4 Colorado State, and the total's 42.5 in the Arizona Bowl. Both schools finished strong by winning 4 out of their 5 down the stretch, but Miami's balance here and Colorado State's inconsistency leads me to jump on Miami here, minus 3 and over 42.5. The Military Bowl is Saturday at 5:45 Eastern on ESPN at Navy Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis. 6-6 North Carolina State is a 5.5-point favorite versus 7-5 East Carolina, and the total's 58.5. NC State became bowl eligible by winning their finale against rival North Carolina, and ECU won 4 of 5 to close out their season after putting up big numbers all year long. NC State wins, but ECU gets the cover, possibly even through the back door. ECU plus 5.5 and over 58.5. The Alamo Bowl is Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern on ABC at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, where 23rd ranked Colorado is a 5.5-point favorite versus number 17 Brigham Young, and the total's 54.5. This is a rare matchup between 2 schools from the same conference that both finished in a tie for first, but they failed to make the Big 12 championship game. So since they never faced each other this season, it's Deion's swan song for Sun Shedeur and Heisman Trophy winning wideout Travis Hunter to go out with a bang, and they will. Colorado minus 5.5 and over 54.5. The nightcap on Saturday is the Independence Bowl, 9:15 Eastern on ESPN at Independence Stadium in Shreveport. 22nd ranked Army is a 17.5-point favorite versus 5-7 Louisiana Tech, and the total's 44.5. The controversy here is that Army was lined up to play Marshall, but after a coach and more than 20 players left the program, Marshall bowed out of the bowl game, and Louisiana Tech became the only school with a losing record to qualify for a bowl game. Army wins early and often. As quarterback, they're going to run, and they're going to do it. Quarterback Bryson Daly has had a field day in feasting on Louisiana Tech this week. Yeah, I'm nuts. I'll take Army minus 17.5 and over 44.5 to close out an absolutely insane day of college bowl mania. Saturday also has 3 NFL matchups going, and the first one goes at 1 Eastern on NFL Network at Gillette Shaving Cream Stadium in Foxborough, where the 9-6 Chargers are 4.5-point road chalk at the 3-12 Patriots, and the total's 42.5. The Chargers got a huge win on Thursday night over Denver to halt their 2-game skid and clearly have their eyes on the playoffs, while New England has been and will continue to be a total freaking mess. They did cover, though, on Sunday versus Buffalo. I think they can again. Chargers win, Patriots cover. New England plus 4.5. Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on NFL Network at the Jungle in the Queen City. 7-8 Cincinnati's a 3-point home favorite versus 9-6 Denver, and the total's 48. Cincy's now won 3 straight, and they righted the ship, even if it's a little too late, too little too late. But Denver has one major problem. And that's that they just can't beat anybody good. The question is Cincinnati good? I say yes. Bengals -3. Saturday's late game goes at 8:15 Eastern on NFL Network at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Always up to no good. Shout out Dre. The 9-6 Ram Chops are 6-point home chalk versus the 7-8 Arizona Cardinals, and the total's 49. The Rams are smoking hot right now and are basically a lock for the NFC West title, while Arizona, who had the NFC West in their sights, have now lost 4 out of 5 with their only win coming over shitty New England. Ouch. Rams win and continue to cruise, but they don't cover. I'm on the Cards here, +6. NFL Week 17 Sunday starts at 1 Eastern on CBS at Everbank Stadium in Duval County, as we have a truly, truly horrible matchup here with 3-12 Jacksonville as a 1.5-point home favorite versus 3-12 Tennessee, and the total's 39.5. There's absolutely nothing good happening for either one of these teams, and with only one more game left after this week, this game is all about draft order. Flip a coin and tell me which team is worse. I think Jacksonville is, so give me Tennessee +1.5 with a sprinkle. 1 Eastern on CBS at the Sombrero in Tampa. The 8-7 Buccaneers are 8-point home favorites versus 4-11 Carolina. The total's 49.5. The Bucs' 5-game win streak came to a halt on Sunday in an inexplicable loss at Dallas, while Carolina's 4-game losing streak came to an end with a home win over Arizona on Sunday, and a good one, actually. Carolina's played really well lately, covering numbers, and have basically turned their season around. But they're just simply outmatched here, as the Bucs need this one badly if they want to win the NFC South. Bucs -8. 1 Eastern on Fox at the Link in Stoniecast. The 12-3 Eagles are 9.5-point home chalk versus 7-8 Dallas, and the total's 43. Right now the number's 9.5, but everything could change based on the status of Philly quarterback Jalen Hurts' concussion. The Eagles are one of the 3 best teams in the NFL, but that's with Hurts. And without Hurts, they lost on Sunday in Washington. Dallas has been hot since Dak Prescott got hurt, and they won on Monday night over Tampa Bay to make it 4 out of 5. Philly wins, but Dallas keeps it close and gets the cover. Cowboys +9.5. 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox at Snoopyville in New Jersey. The 7-8 Indianapolis is a 7.5-point road chalk at the 2-13 Giants, and the total's 40.5. Indy keeps flip-flopping wins and losses in a vain attempt to try and make the playoffs in the AFC, while the Giants are a complete disaster. All 7 of Indy's wins this year have been by 1 score, which makes me weary, but the Giants are just that freaking bad. Colts -7 and a chunk. 1 Eastern on Fox at the Superdome in the Big Easy. 5-10 New Orleans is a 2.5-point home favorite versus the 3-12 Raiders, and the total is 40. Both teams are shit. Nobody cares who wins, and if you're watching this game, you need to be assassinated. So just flip a coin and choose the Saints -1. 1 Eastern on CBS at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. The 12-3 Bills are 10-point home favorites versus the 4-11 Jets, and the total's 46.5. Buffalo is still naively thinking that they have a chance to get the AFC's top seed, but Kansas City's pretty much got that locked up. So since that's unlikely, wins and health are what they need now. The Jets' only win in their last 9 games was versus Jacksonville 2 weeks ago, and they've been a total disaster all season. Bills roll -10. 4:25 Eastern on Fox at US Bank Stadium in Stoniecast. The 13-2 Vikings are 1.5-point home favorites versus 11-4 Green Bay, and the total's 48.5. This would be a juicy matchup in about 2 or 3 weeks, and we may get it come playoff time. But we also get it this Sunday. Both teams come in red hot with pressure on the lines to keep on winning, because all 3 are going to be in the playoffs, but these last 2 weeks are all about seeding. As smooth as Green Bay has looked lately, I have to roll with the Vikings here at home -1.5. 4 Eastern on CBS at the Dog Pound in Cleveland. 7-8 Miami's a 6.5-point road favorite at the 3-12 Browns, and the total's 40.5. Miami keeps flip-flopping wins and losses in their last 6, while Cleveland is in the running for the number one pick in the NFL draft and have lost 4 straight. I'd love to keep on taking favorites here, but I'm not sold on Miami, especially in cold weather. Fins win it, but Browns get the cover, plus 6.5 at home. Sunday night, 8:20 Eastern on NBC at Northwest Stadium in Landover, our nation's capital. 10-5 Washington is a 4-point home favorite versus 8-7 Atlanta, and the total's 47.5. Washington's won 3 straight, and their come-from-behind win over Philly on Sunday was their first against the winning team all season, while Atlanta's now won 2 straight against the Raiders and Giants, who are arguably the 2 worst teams in the NFL. And that was in rookie quarterback Michael Penix's first NFL start. He wasn't bad, and he was on a leash. Atlanta has enough to make this one very interesting, so I'll take the Falcons here, catching 4 on the road in our nation's capital. And finally, on Monday night, 8:15 Eastern on ABC at 501 Denim Jeans Stadium in the Silicon Valley. 13-2 Detroit, is a 3.5-point road favorites at 6-9 San Francisco, and the total's 51.5. The Lions rebounded from their first loss since September by blasting Chicago last week, while the 49ers' disaster of a season continued to roll on with another loss in Miami on Sunday. The Lions are looking for payback from their loss to the 49ers in the NFC playoffs last year, and the 49ers season is just toast. Lions win and continue to roll. Detroit minus 3.5 to close out the week. And there's one bowl game on Monday, and it's the Music City Bowl at 2:30 Eastern on ESPN at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, where 19th ranked Missouri is a 3-point favorite versus 8-4 Iowa, and the total's 40.5. Missouri's roller coaster season ended strong with wins in 3 of their last 4, and they finished 4th in the SEC, while Iowa ripped off 5 out of 6 to finish 5th in the Big Ten. This one has the makings of a really good one, and if it weren't so early, I'd go, but instead I'll watch the first half at work before catching the end at home. Iowa's defense is exactly what a Kirk Ferentz defense should be. I like Missouri here, though, laying the 3, and I'll take under 40.5. That's it. That's 17 NFL games to go along with 18 bowl matchups with totals, makes it 53, and the 4 college hoop Christmas Day matchups that I gave you for tomorrow, gives us 57 picks I just gave you on this podcast alone. So make sure to check back on the comment section every day for hoops picks, and check back next Monday night as Stoniecast number 158 will be coming at you. So until then, just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. You can't go broke taking a profit. Scared money don't make money. For me, the action is the juice. The difference between winning and making money is that anyone winning can win betting chalk, but you can't make money unless you take the dogs. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you. And yep, I still miss you, Gooch, my brother, my man. Merry Christmas to everybody. Y'all have a good one. Stony Claus is passing it off to Teddy KGB to close us out.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.